Multiple NBA insiders have linked Jonas Valanciunas to the Knicks for months now. And according to recent reports, if the Wizards trade Jonas to the Knicks, they're going to want their first round pick back. We're going to break down the most realistic trade packages for Valanciunas to date. But before we get started, guys, about 54% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. We are on a mission to try to reach 25,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. And now, let's get started. The Knicks trade reports are heating up. If you asked me what player is likely going to be added to this team before the trade deadline, it's without a doubt Jonas Valanciunas. Valanciunas has been linked to the Knicks since the offseason. And with Mitchell Robinson still out and New York still needing another big man off the bench who can have an impact, Valanciunas fits that role extremely well. But what does a fair trade package look like for the Knicks to go after Valanciunas? Well, shout out to James L. Edwards of The Athletic for giving us the following trade proposal. In the following trade proposal, the Knicks would receive Jonas Valanciunas from the Wizards, and Washington would receive Mitchell Robinson and 2 2026 second-round picks. In my opinion, the only way the Knicks make this move is if they know something about Mitchell Robinson that we don't. Either that his timeline for returning is going to be pushed back or something happened during rehab that we just don't know about. Either way, if the Knicks make this move, then it means Mitchell Robinson is likely not close to returning, and that's why New York was forced to make this trade for Valanciunas. But what about James L. Edwards? Why does he want the Knicks to make this move? Well, let's take a look at exactly what he said about the Knicks and why they should go after Valanciunas here. According to Edwards, my logic here is that the Knicks get a regularly available and steady veteran center who would immediately be a front court upgrade off the bench, assuming Robinson isn't close to being the player he once was. New York has some second-round picks to spare, so while it's not ideal to attach assets to move off of Robinson, it's not the end of the world either, because obviously it's second-round picks, not first-round picks. New York would also shave a few million off of its payroll with this move. So we know why the Knicks would make this move, but why would the Wizards? Well, shout out to Edwards. He also answered that as well, too. The reason why I could see the Wizards entertaining this trade is because they're rebuilding and likely will be rebuilding for a few more seasons. The Knicks have a heavily protected first-round pick from the Wizards, who I believe will do everything in their power to make sure they don't lose a first-round selection, and that asset transforms into 2 second-round picks instead. There's some risk here with Washington because, again, no one knows Robinson's health status. But if he's not able to play regularly down the second half of the season, it makes the Wizards worse and helps their draft positioning. Also, I don't think a healthy Robinson changes Washington's fortunes too much. On the flip side, if at any point over the next several months, Robinson looks like the player he once was, the Wizards could flip him over the summer or before next year's trade deadline for more assets. Robinson has one more season after this left on his deal. So according to Edwards, the main reason he believes that the Wizards would do this deal is because they need more assets, because they're a rebuilding franchise. And because of that, any more assets they get, they can utilize in the future to make more trades or other things like that. But if you're Washington and you're trading with the Knicks, there's one thing you want more than anything else: your first round pick back. Because if you get that draft pick back, you get to use it in trades and you get to control your future. Nobody else. That's the main reason that if the Wizards make a deal with the Knicks, I can see them counter-offering in a trade and asking for that pick back. And according to a beat writer with the Wizards, he stated the exact same thing. If Washington is going to make this deal with the Knicks, they're going to want their first-round pick back. Let's take a look at those reports as well, too. Shout out to Josh Robbins, a Wizard beat writer with The Athletic, for giving us the following information. According to him, if I were in the Wizards' shoes, I would take any Knicks interest in Jonas Valanciunas as an opportunity to revisit the terms of the Wizards' current obligation of sending a protected first-round pick to New York, which, if not conveyed by 2026, would send the Wizards' second-round picks in 2026 and 2027 to New York. Getting back their own second-round picks would have more value than the second-round picks that are being offered here by James Edwards of The Athletic. Basically, second-round picks from other teams, not the Wizards. I believe this 100%. If you're the Wizards and you're trading Valanciunas and you're trading him to the Knicks, you are absolutely not making that move unless you're getting that first-round pick back. And for the Knicks, they should have no problem giving them that pick back if they actually want Valanciunas. Because for us, that pick means nothing. It will never convey. For other teams, it means nothing because it will never convey. But for the Wizards, it means a lot because they are rebuilding. And if they get access to that pick back, they will be able to trade that pick and get other assets to add to their team. And as a rebuilding franchise, there's nothing that you want more, nothing sweeter than getting a first-round pick. For us, even though it's considered a first-round pick, the Knicks should really see it as a second-round pick because that's really all it is. That's what it's going to turn into when it doesn't convey. And I promise you, it will never convey for Washington. If you get off of this pick and you're getting somebody like Jonas Valanciunas off the bench who can rebound, who can impact the game, sometimes he can be a walking double-double. And mind you, he can play with Karl Anthony Towns. You want to know how I know that? Because Preston Achiuwa can play with Karl Anthony Towns. And if he can play with Towns, then so can Valanciunas. And when Towns is outside, who's the center that's going to be inside? It's going to be Valanciunas. He's going to be banging down low, trying to get those rebounds. But not only that, get those rebounds, but also try to score. He's not going to try to get the rebound and pass it out. He's going to look for his game and try to get that bucket, dunk, get an and one, whatever it is. He is offensive-minded. And with the Knicks having one of the worst benches in the entire league in terms of scoring, why not add another big off the bench who not only will move Achiuwa to his natural 4 position, but also he'll be able to give the Knicks more size inside and also give you more scoring. It sounds like a win-win for New York and Washington, but only if New York knows that Mitchell Robinson will never return like the same player. Then maybe that's why they're waiting closer to the February 6th trade deadline to make a move. Because maybe at that point, they'll pull the trigger, trade Mitchell Robinson, and we'll get Jonas Valanciunas on this team. Regarding Robinson, at this point in time, his status over the last few weeks really hasn't changed. A few weeks ago, I made a video about Robinson, and I said at that point, he's not sprinting yet, he's doing pool work, he's dieting, and he looks like he's in great shape. And you know what I'm going to say about him now? The exact same thing, because the update from the Knicks is exactly that. It's the same. He's still not fully sprinting yet. And if he's not doing that now, that means he's likely weeks away. According to Edwards, the Knicks roster is in need of some tweaks, but they must stay below the second apron, making the ability to do something of great significance by February 6th very tricky. On top of that, New York's biggest contract not in the starting unit is center Mitchell Robinson, who hasn't played all season after undergoing foot surgery last spring. Robinson's return could be the midseason acquisition that the Knicks need. The Knicks could use an elite rim protector who also acts as a premier lob threat. However, Robinson's return date remains unclear as he's yet to practice or begin full sprinting. Conversely, there is a scenario that exists where the Knicks draw the line in the sand and don't want to rely on the availability of the often injured big man. I want to say this so everybody hears me and there's no type of misunderstandings. If and when Mitchell Robinson comes back and he's healthy and he stays healthy, he is the perfect piece for this team. But did you see how many qualifiers I had to put on Mitchell Robinson to say he's the perfect piece of this team? He has to stay healthy. He has to remain healthy. He has to play consistently. Do we believe he's going to do all of those things when he returns? Honestly speaking, I don't think so. Because more often than not, Mitchell Robinson is an injury-prone player. And because of that, I don't really have that much faith in him returning and playing consistently. That's why if I'm the Knicks and I know Mitchell Robinson and his return date is going to be pushed back again, he's not looking exactly the same in practice, I am calling the Wizards right now, and I'm making this deal for Valanciunas. I'm getting him on this team. I'm going to make sure he's going to be one of the best bench pieces we have going into the postseason. And once we're there, hopefully we know the weapon we have in Valanciunas off the bench, because the way I'm seeing him being used, 20 to 25 minutes off the bench, 10 to 15 minutes playing with Karl Anthony Towns, seeing that double big lineup. Towns playing the 4, he's playing outside, and we have a big body in Jonas Valanciunas playing inside. I understand. A lot of people think he doesn't play defense. I think under Tom Thibodeau, he would play better defense. He's always been a great rebounder, so he's going to continue to do that. But one of the things he's going to give you that Mitchell Robinson never gave you is the ability to get that ball, put it on the floor, turn around, hook shot, or put back up the ball, and that's a dunk. Or go up and have a floater shot. Or maybe take the ball out and shoot a 3. Guess what? Valanciunas, he's capable of doing all of that. Great weapon on offense. And on defense, of course he needs work. And as he gets older in this league, he's not going to be the best defender. I understand that. But I think he can be serviceable under head coach Tom Thibodeau. And coming off of your bench, playing 20 to 25 minutes, always being available, I would make this trade if I'm New York, because at this point, we have no idea when Mitchell Robinson will return. Is it going to be in mid-February, or is that when he's going to start practice? Because if he only starts practice then that means maybe he returns in March. That's why the regular season has to be utilized to work out all the kinks. So when we are entering the playoffs, we are the team we need to be. Right now, we're starting to get there because we're starting to trust the bench. We're starting to give them minutes. Let's see how long we do that before Tom Thibodeau changes it up and he goes back to his old ways. I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm watching that. I'm also watching to see what the Knicks do. Will they hold on to Mitchell Robinson, or will they make that trade? You know where I stand, but what about you guys? Where do you stand on the Mitchell Robinson front? Do you want the Knicks to continue to wait for him? Potentially wait till after the trade deadline for him, and if he returns and he doesn't look like the same player, you're stuck with him. You can't make any moves for him until the offseason. Or do you agree with me? Do you pull the trigger right now on a Robinson deal? Do you get a player like Jonas Valanciunas or another player like Valanciunas at this point in time? Let me know in the comments section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.